Joined by Hilary Kennedy of the 4-Minute Buzz. Welcome. First of all, now I know you went to Salt Lake City and enjoyed in person a UFC event.
Yes,
right?
It was my first time to see it in person, and it did not disappoint.
And we'll get to that in a second. But first, there's also kind of a weird story about Tom Brady and Gronkowski both going to the Raiders, and that being set up by UFC's Dana White.
Yes, this is really bizarre. This shocked a lot of people. So Dana White was on Rob Gronkowski's Gronkcast the night of the UFC fights, and Rob kind of goaded him into telling this story.
Yeah.
And basically, Dana White said
We can play the video.
Oh, yeah, play the video.
Because
We got a clip. Yeah.
Okay.
You would have been. So
I would have been.
I'm the one. I worked to put that deal together for Brady and Gronk to come to the Raiders. And it was almost a done deal.
Listen to this.
And at the last minute, Gruden blew the deal up and said that he didn't want him. And
why would you want him?
all hell broke
Why
loose,
would you
man.
want him?
It was crazy. And Brady was already looking at houses, and it wasn't being said yet that Gronk was coming. So Las Vegas would have had Brady and Gronk the year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, except Gruden blew the deal up.
Wow.
And there's so much story that goes along with this behind the scenes. And I was never going to tell that story till Gronk just said it. But
And
Weird.
Dana,
let me tell you what, Brady
exactly
was
what
not
happened,
happy.
and you just told the story. That is exactly what happened. Wow.
What in the world does Dana White have to do with that?
He might.
I mean, he's friends with Tom Brady. So
Yeah.
Tom Brady's been to a lot of the UFC fights, but it's just weird because he's not their sports agent.
Yeah, and
they all
right,
have agents.
right.
So I
Did
don't know.
you see there where he goes, and Brady was not happy? Well, people have gone back and looked at some HBO show where there's a trailer where Tom Brady says, this other team at the last minute decided they didn't want me, and I said, you're going to stick with that blankety blank?
That's right.
Yeah.
That would be Derek Carr, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
So Brady was looking at houses, planning on moving to
Yeah.
Vegas. Yeah.
Interesting.
If you're a
pretty
Raiders
crazy.
fan right now, are you like, what?
I know. Well, why would you want Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski?
Are they good?
Well,
I'm not a football guy.
I
Never
haven't
heard of 'em.
heard much of them. It's not like they've been successful in their craft at
Oh,
all.
boy.
That's
so
amazing.
that was
Why would you
interesting.
blow up that deal?
Isn't that crazy?
That's bizarre.
All right.
Wow.
I have another crazy story, too. Now, this is a guy I don't follow at all. In fact, this was the first time I'd ever heard of him, but he's an MMA fighter, Joel Bowman, or Bauman. I'm not sure how you say his last name. So he won a fight recently, and then he called out Jimmy Kimmel in his post-fight interview. Do we have a
Yeah, we
clip
got
of that?
the
Okay,
video,
play
yeah.
that.
So all those doubting my NFT, you're looking at the guy.
NFT.
That's the reason
NFT
that college
reference.
athletes and high school athletes are getting paid today. Mr. Influencer to influencer.
Nice dog collar.
Secondly, Jimmy Kimmel.
Uh-oh, what?
Viral this.
Uh-oh.
I fight to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet. And until they release the flight logs,
Flight logs.
you, the mainstream media,
Epstein.
Hollywood, are all pedophiles to me.
Oh. All right.
Am I canceled yet.com?
Wow.
That's awesome.
But, I mean, he's one of several fighters that have now referenced the Epstein situation, saying, release the flight logs. We want to know who's in the black book.
That's got to be a Dana White edict, huh? Like, or
Maybe
request.
so. I mean, I think he probably does give some up-and-comers advice on ways to make themselves more memorable, and this is one way to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So are they alleging Jimmy Kimmel was on one of those flights?
I have no idea, but this is what this feels like to me. Remember when that comedian made that obscure reference to Bill Cosby and, inappropriate behavior, and that turned into, a conviction?
Yeah. Yes.
I just wonder, is this going to be, are we going to reference this moment 5
Maybe.
years from now? Boy, remember when that fighter guy just referenced Jimmy Kimmel and Epstein?
could
Maybe.
be. A lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah.
So how was the fight over the weekend?
This was one of the best fight nights I have ever seen. And we usually
Really?
get them on pay-per-view.
Wow.
It was so good, Pat. It was awesome. So
You were there.
I was there, loved every minute of it. It was fantastic.
look.
If you ever get a chance to see it live, living my best life. It was so much fun. So
Salt Lake City.
There were two fights that really, it was the last two fights. They
Was
were
it
the
at
ones
the
that
Delta
really,
Center? Or I guess it's not that anymore.
Vivint,
Yeah, Vivint.
Yeah, Vivint Center. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
2 fights, you said?
Yes. So the title fight was awesome. It was Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, and everyone expected Usman to take it, no problem, because he's arguably the best fighter in the UFC right now, one of the absolute best. But Edwards dethroned him in like the last, I mean, it was definitely under a minute. It was like the last 30 seconds or something.
Wow.
That no one expected to happen. And I don't know if we have a picture or a clip of Joe Rogan's face, but everybody was completely shocked by it. Yeah.
I have seen that face of his so many times.
He knocked him out with a head kick. I mean, right at the very end, and it was lights out. And you know it's good when Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, who hate each other, or at least on social media, they were both trolling Usman after this with memes and saying horrible stuff to him. So you know it was a really, really bad defeat when it unites Jake Paul and Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
So that was a wonderful fight. If you get a chance to go back and watch the highlights, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
And bloody? Was it bloody for you?
Okay, the bloodiest
Oh my
one.
goodness, this
was my favorite fight.
This is ridiculous.
So Paulo Acosta and Luke Rockhold
Get the kids
fought
out of
each
the
other.
room for this, because this is scarring.
It's so. This was a pretty like big dog move by Rockhold, but Rockhold hasn't fought for the last 3 years, so people were kind of excited. And he's an older fighter, so he's on the older end. I think he's 37, 38. But he and Acosta, they had some words at the press conference. Luke accused Acosta of putting off their fight because he was getting cosmetic surgery and basically calling him a pretty boy during the press conference. And so they already had beef before it started. But Rockhold got clipped pretty good in the first round or two, so he looked wobbly for almost the whole fight. But it was like one of those zombie movies where someone keeps shooting at zombies, but they keep getting up and advancing. That was what Rockhold was doing. I mean, it was the most inspiring thing to watch. But one move just like solidified this in everyone's memory. They were on the ground grappling, and Rockhold had just been bloody almost the whole fight. So his face is covered in blood. So he takes his bloody face and he rubs it all over Acosta's face. We've got some footage of it. Yeah.
This is like homoerotic, man. Look at that.
Just rubbed it
Did
all.
he just lick him too? There was a tongue coming out of it. Stop.
But it was incredibly bloody, so it was my favorite fight of the night. And even though Acosta won by TKO, everybody really kind of felt like Rockhold was the winner in some ways because he showed so much heart and spirit and never gave up, and so it was pretty awesome.
That's great. I'm glad there was a lot of bloodshed for you.
Yeah, I would have been disappointed had there not been a lot.
That's
but
great.
yeah, I didn't see any broken bones, unfortunately, but I did see a lot of blood. So that
was the arena sold out?
It looked sold out if
Did
it
it?
wasn't. It was packed. And the noise in there, I've been to a lot of sporting events. Hockey games are always pretty wild. I love to go to hockey games. The noise in there, though, was like nothing I've ever experienced. These fans are so amazing and just into it. So I loved it.
Is there another clip that you had, or am I wrong?
I'm trying to think if I have anything else.
I thought.
No, that was pretty much
Okay,
it.
sorry.
But I did get to meet Gilbert Burns. He's number 4 in the UFC welterweight rankings. And so we got to go to dinner with him on Friday night and ask him a bunch of questions. And I thought one of the most interesting things that he talked about was one of the most difficult parts of the competition, especially mentally, is making weight. He was like, making weight is one of the hardest things as a fighter, which I thought, I was like, well, welcome to what it's like being a woman. But it was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you ever get the chance to see a UFC fight live, do it.
I'd love to. It'd be fun, I think.
It's incredible.
I think it'd be fun. Are you interested in UFC at all? You don't really follow it, do you?
No. I mean, I'm not against it, but I'm
just don't follow it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt with the Gronkowski story, because I was like, I've seen him on a Tide commercial, I think, and because I don't follow football at all. So
is it so loud that you would recommend people bring earplugs?
No, I mean, like you could well, not little kids, but you could still bring kids and not worry about damaging their hearing or whatever. But it's
I'm sure the atmosphere. I mean, it looks electric just through the TV. I'm sure in person it even
is.
more so.
And ladies, I highly recommend going because it's the only sporting event you will go to right now where there is not a line for the ladies' room. Because every basketball game, football game, hockey game, you wait for 2 hours to go to the bathroom. At a UFC fight, you don't. You walk right in. The line is in the men's room. It was awesome. It was like finally some equity in sports. Everybody.
Right, finally. All right, Hillary,
Nice.
thanks a lot. We'll be watching for you on the 4-Minute Buzz coming
Thank
up in
you.
just like a few minutes.